The Xperia 10 IV is a typical example of how taller and slimmer Sony phones are than those of most other manufacturers. This phone isn't the smallest we've held recently, but it still manages to feel smaller than many others thanks to its depth. Only a USB-C connector, SIM tray, the standard volume and lock controls, and the endangered headphone jack protrude from the sides. A triple camera module surrounds the rear of the device, while the front-facing camera pierces the top bezel, slightly offset to the left. Well, you want to know more? Let's get moving. The fingerprint sensor is cleverly integrated into the lock button, making it easy to unlock, and the matte plastic of its flat edges means there is no awkwardness about gripping it as there can be with phones that have a curved glass edge. It fits comfortably in the hand. Despite packing in all the components of a contemporary smartphone you'd anticipate, plus a sizable 5,000 mAh battery, it's also fairly light, weighing in at only 161 grams. The 6-inch HDR OLED panel has a Gorilla Glass covering, a maximum refresh rate of 60 Hz, a 21:9 aspect ratio, a pixel density of 457 ppi, and a resolution of 1080 by 2520 pixels. This surpasses the Honor 70 and puts it on par with smartphones like the Apple iPhone 11 Pro Max and older Google Pixel models, but it still falls short of the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra and Sony's own Xperia XZ Premium from 2017, which packs more than 800 ppi onto its UHD 5.46-inch screen. The SIM tray stands out since you can remove it with a fingernail rather than hunting down one of those tiny tools or convincing someone to take off an earring. The two-part tray accepts a nano SIM or an eSIM for dual SIM functionality and a micro SD card to increase the phone's 128 gigabytes of storage. The phone as a whole very much sums up the cameras, which are adequate but not spectacular. Behind the main camera, there's a 12-megapixel sensor with an equivalent 27mm focal length and an f by 1.8 aperture, as well as 8-megapixel ultra-wide and 2x telephoto options. Although such low-resolution numbers without pixel binning are unusual in 2022, pictures taken in the daytime are typically clear. However, the images are all sharpest in the center, with softness and chromatic aberration beginning to appear at the edges, especially when taken with an ultra-wide lens. Low light performance, which was such a revelation in recent phone cameras like the Pixel series, has returned to its pre-revolutionary state. Even with the night mode setting, you'll still get a lot of high ISO noise, and unless you can provide some contrast for the AF to lock onto, it may struggle in low light. Optical image stabilization in HDR mode that can be set to auto, and the typical Android features like slow motion, panorama, manual mode, and live filters work in their favor. However, despite the presence of a selfie portrait mode, we were unable to locate the main camera's background blurring functionality. Video can only be recorded at a maximum resolution of 1080p by 60. Shooting modes include 16:9, 21:9, and 1:1, and object tracking autofocus is available. Snapdragon 695 powers the Xperia 10 IV. It has 8 CPU cores and is 5G. 6 of them are ARM Cortex-A55 efficiency cores, and 2 of them are ARM Cortex-A78 performance cores. Additionally, there is 6 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage. However, the latter can be increased using the micro SD card port. Despite this, the phone typically seemed responsive to our tests, with only a very minor sense of lag when switching between apps or tapping the home button, which, in modern Android 12 style, can be replaced with a gesture. For swiftly checking messages, there's a helpful window manager software that enables an app to run in a small window above the home screen. While Bluetooth advances to version 5.1, Wi-Fi remains at version 5. You must search elsewhere if you require Wi-Fi 6 and gigabyte downloads on your phone. Well, one aspect of the Xperia 10 IV that does stand out is battery life. The combination of the substantial battery, the more effective processor, and the relatively modest screen size is excellent. If you keep your usage to WhatsApp, browsing, and a little bit of YouTube, rather than sapping it with games or marathon movie viewing, you can really get 2 days' worth of moderate use out of a charge. There is no charger included in the box, as is increasingly typical, and the phone doesn't charge particularly quickly either. Although the battery is taken care of by USB PD and adaptive charging, it still doesn't charge up very quickly. Well, with that said, what you think of the video? For more exciting and informative videos, keep watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned for more.